Hey guys, it's Chris Hussein back from C&H Smallenge again for another informative service and repair video. Right now I've got deals with carburetors and the general types and configurations out there and stuff like that. In front of me I got about 6 carburetors here. This one right here was off a, let me see here, this is off a, I think it comes to Snow King engine right here. This one was off of a Poro propel lawnmower with the Chinese engine on here, and this one was off a, this is an aftermarket, yeah, this one right here. Okay, I'll talk about these two first right here. These two right here are basically almost identical carburetors right here. One to my left here is off of a Snow King Tecumseh engine, and this one on my right here it was off. Basically, it's the replacement one for this one because the Tecumseh is no longer in business right there, and they're no longer making new parts replacement parts on your machines out there. And there's one thing I need to caution people about these aftermarket ones. They may be nice and cheap, but the problem is the quality is not there. I bought this thing online here probably about 4 years ago because Tecumseh went out of business back in, I think back in 08, I think 08, 09. And the problem is with these ones is these floats in here tend to not float, and they actually break down on the float surfaces right there, and they can fill up with gasoline. And the other thing is these input sides in a fuel filler right here, they can leak over time, and because of that you can actually lose all your gasoline out here where the main surface goes to the carb's body right there. And you do not want that to happen right there, because if it does happen, you'll have a big gas mess all over your ground and stuff like that. So be very wary of these types of carburetors out there. They might look nice and shiny, but that's about the only good thing about them. They're nice and shiny, and they're basically cheap and a piece of garbage. So if you can get a original equipment carburetor, if they still make them, or somebody might still have them in stock for your Tecumseh Snow King engine like this one right here, it might cost $80 to $120, but, and I say but, they will last longer, or it should last as long or longer as the original equipment you had on your machine from the factory, so you shouldn't have any problems with them from that point on right there. And I'll get you a couple more carburetors here as well. Okay. This one is a Chinese carburetor. It's for the Kohler overhead valve engines right here. And this one's made by Ruing. This is their basically Honda knockoff style carb right here. It's basically an auto choke system where they have a couple plumbing lines. They have an automatic choke system that basically actuates off of the I think the exhaust manifold or something like that on it. It basically heats up and has a rod over here and actuates that on there, and basically sets it to run either choke or lean on it whenever it's in a different operating position. Where your engine's cold, it'll be in the choke position. When it's hot, it should be in the choke off position as well. Some of these seem to be okay, other ones can be really problematic, and because of that, it's always good to replace these carburetors because they're relatively cheap, between maybe 30 and 60 bucks depending on what the specific application is for them. And the next two carburetors I have here are a genuine Honda carburetor off a Honda overhead valve commercial duty engine like I have on my own personal HRC lawnmower. These things are nice and heavy, and they're basically built like a tank. The thing is, they're a lot more heavier too, and they're basically, this one right here is about as heavy, I say about a one and a half of these ones. So it's overall, it's actually made of thicker material, and it's actually built a lot better, and they're a lot easier to clean out and rebuild. One thing I do not like about Honda, and this is one thing that I do not like, they do not have general rebuild kits for these things. You have to buy individual parts for the rebuilds of these things, like a float, needle seat, and bowl gasket, nut gasket, and all those other gaskets you might need to rebuild these things. They do not have a rebuild kit for these things, and that's one of the downsides, as opposed to your Tecumsehs and the other ones out there, like for like Briggs and Stratton and stuff like that. The last carburetor I got here is a carburetor off a commercial, I think it's a let me see here, I think it was off a cement mixer I had a guy here a few months back. He had a cement mixer and he needed a new carburetor, and this was the similar carburetor to what he had on the machine before. Basically, the reason you can tell between the OEM and the knockoff ones, where the OEM ones, they have this nice little on and off shut-off valve on the front right here. They also have this nice little catch can you can drain out if you build up sediment in your gas tank. Basically, fuel comes down out of the fuel tank. Your fuel tank on Hondas, they have a nice little finger style fuel filler up in the tank. It basically sticks up like that out of the bottom of the tank, so whenever it's filters down into the gas system on it goes down here first, then goes through your shut off, on and off shut off valve here, and then it goes down to your catch can right here, and basically goes through this down here, and it goes up here into your carburetor. And basically, these catch cans are a basic ingenious idea. I really like them on here. Basically, if you're working in a really dirty and dusty environment, you should drain this thing out probably every day or every few hours if you're working in a really dusty environment, like you're out there cutting concrete up or doing a lot of construction and has a lot of debris floating around the air, because that debris will eventually work itself into the gas tank and into your gas filter, and if it doesn't stop it there, it'll go down your carburetor and you might have a plugged carburetor. And that's one of the reasons why I really like this style. And you just basically unbolt this thing on here. I think it's about a 10 millimeter on here, and you just unscrew it. You just drain it out, and it only takes about maybe 10 seconds to do it. And you can also drain out the bottom of the bowl on the actual bowl, because the bowl for this Chinese one right here, I have my left hand, and the bowl for the genuine Honda I have my right hand are almost identical. They have a separate drain screw on here. Just basically you just unscrew the bolt on here and down there, and you just unscrew it, and you just basically drain out the carburetor in about maybe 5 seconds right there, and just put it back up in there. If you might have some bad fuel, it might have a little bit of debris in it, but that's basically a general precaution for your equipment out there right there for that. So if anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot, just email me back here on my page, and I'll try to answer any questions you have as fast as possible and give you any assistance I can within reason there, because there's always a liability issue and stuff like that. I can't really disclose too much information because I don't want somebody to come back and sue me because of whatever they did to their machine or something out there. So just give me a call back here, or just just leave a message on my YouTube page here, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. I'll see you guys.